Today's pattern is going to be the Beadhead Breadcrust. This is a pattern that I've been tying commercially now for about 30 years. And I was very fortunate to have met Ed Rolka right when he was about ready to retire from commercial tying. And he was the man that really popularized this pattern. It's a pattern that came from the Pocono Mountains back in Pennsylvania. We'll begin by clamping a Tiemco 5262 into my vise, and I've put on here a brass bead. I typically tie this in sizes 12 through 18. I use a 3.5 millimeter for my 12s, a 3.0 for my 14s, a 2.5 millimeter for my 16s, and a 2.0 millimeter bead for my 18s. So that kind of gives you some sort of a guideline with regard to the beads. I typically will tie this in either a tungsten or a brass bead. This is a brass bead here. And we'll begin with a jam knot right behind this bead. Probably the biggest tip that I can give you on this fly is to make sure that you fill in the countersunk side of this bead. So this will take a tremendous amount of thread wraps. This is a 6/0 uni brown. And we'll take several wraps here to fill in that countersunk portion of this brass bead. And you can kind of pull that thread down, and you can see when I just a little thread tension there, and it actually pulled that back into that bead. If you don't take the time to secure this bead into place, you'll be fighting it throughout the tying process. And at the end of the day, your bead will be crooked upon completion of this fly. The underbody is going to be a 4-strand knitting yarn, of which we'll take 2 strands and simply separate them out. I'm going to clip off the butt ends and secure them into place. And then I'll wrap the yarn back towards the bend. And then I'll advance that yarn forward, creating a slightly tapered underbody. I'll take a couple material locking wraps to secure that yarn in place. Now, the problem with this is the preparation of the materials, and that's why a lot of people tend to shy away from tying this pattern, but it's really only as difficult as you make it. We sell hundreds of dozens of these at the shop. It's one of our most popular cased caddis imitations that we sell. It's tied from a red phased rough grouse tail fan, of which we'll pull one single fiber out, feather fiber, and we're going to clip off the tip and the butt of the feather. And then we'll take our scissors and trim the barbules down to where they're about a little less than 1/16 of an inch from the center quill. We'll do the exact same on the other side. Then I'm going to float them in a bowl of water to soften them up. Now typically what I do is I'll take the entire fan and I'll separate all of these feathers, which typically on average is about 18 feathers on a tail fan, and I'll prepare the whole tail at one time, which helps escalate the tying when you're tying dozens of these things, because if you have to prep each feather, it takes way too much time. The next step is to take a single-edged razor blade and split the backside of the quill off the barbules, which is a very tedious process. You'll see here that inside is the pith of the feather, and on the back side will be the top of the feather with the barbule still attached. The next step is to take a paint scraper and scrape out the pith of that feather, which in theory now you have this big biot, so very, very flexible feather. And we'll float that back in the water. Now we're going to tie this quill in tip first. We'll advance that thread back towards hook bend. And then we'll wrap this forward, and it produces one of the most beautiful cased caddis imitations known to mankind. Take a couple material locking wraps, trim off the excess. The final step is to take a grizzly hen cape and tie in a nice little collar that'll simulate the legs. Tie that in, grab our hackle pliers, and generally 3 to 4 turns of this grizzly hen hackle will suffice. Take a couple material locking wraps, and we'll take the remaining material and sweep it back with our thumb and our index finger. So that's a traditional collar style, more of a wet fly look. And then we'll whip finish. This is a great fly for the famed Mother's Day caddis hatch. It typically occurs toward the middle part of May. It's a great attractor and a tandem nymphing rig. So you can run this as your lead fly and fish some sort of a pupa behind it. It's a deadly combination right up till the onset of runoff. So if you're looking for a great cased caddis imitation, without any shadow of a doubt, the Beadhead Breadcrust is one of my go-to and top guide flies. I want to thank everybody for watching the Blue Quill Angler fly tying tutorial. If you have any questions or concerns about today's tying session, by all means give us a call at the shop at 303-674-4700 or email me at patd@bluequillangler.com. If you want to purchase any of the materials that we used in today's session, follow the links below or go online to our website at bluequillangler.com. I want to thank you for your continued support. I hope our paths cross again soon, and I look forward to the next tying session.